Alright, what's up dudes and dudettes? Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. This is going to be a little lore slash catch-up run to show you guys some things. Not a whole lot of progression here. Just showing you some things like McDuff, Infusion, and we're going to talk to some guys, see what's happened since we've been running around.
There are 4 beings in this, and what
He's not saying anything new.
Do you ever cry?
Oh, that's because I didn't talk to him enough earlier on. No, I don't want to join the video.
If you, I will.
Alright.
Quite a hive of activity we are these days. I'd forgotten how much comfort a little companionship can bring. Once I'd lost everything, but now I am grateful for what you have taught me. It is very little, but please, take this.
And he gives us a soul vessel. This is a great place to get your second soul vessel, because you really don't have to do anything to get it. Just talk to him.
Do you see the way? But Hade's Tower of but the road.
We've already talked to him about these things.
The flame, they exist.
Alright, well, it looks like he doesn't have anything to do.
Did these in a rush?
Yeah, he's pretty much saying all the same stuff. Nothing meaningful there. The pit he was talking about is that giant pit over there.
You've been long away. What would you like? Well, I've only one thing to provide, and we both know what that is.
Oh, we do. Stones. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, stones. Get your mind out of there.
These stones may look... Some of them... None of the...
We've already heard you say that before.
You know how they call this place?
We've heard you say that before.
Since... Maybe... You see that blacksmith over there? Is he one of those hollows? He seems to keep eyeing me up. He sort of looks like my father. He's a blacksmith too, you see. The poor man's such a worrywart. But he wouldn't follow me out here, would he?
Yeah, see, Chloanne has likely been away for a very long time. I mean, she doesn't even recognize her own father, hollow or not, that shouldn't happen. So she's obviously been out for a while. She also seems to be kind of a scatterbrain, so...
I was born in a land to the west, Volgan, famous for its merchants. They're a great, bustling city, but for me, they were suffocating. And so I set out, in search of stones in faraway lands. There are dangers, for certain, but I much prefer to live this way. But for the life of me, I can't remember how I ended up here. It's as if I were drawn to the place, or lured in. Oh, I don't know. These stones may... None of...
Alright, much like everyone else in the game, I really don't know how they got here. There's 2 reasons that could be. One, it could be they've just all been here so long that they just simply don't remember anymore. Or 2, something happens on the way here that changes an undead. Makes it hard for them to remember. Ah, we don't have enough. Alright, I'm going to use one of these souls here. So we want to talk to Mothman. Yeah, I'm going to use one. Let's use the Dragon Slayer soul, because I believe we can get another one later on. Oh wait, no! No! That was Dragon Rider soul we can get later on. Dragon Slayer was Ornstein. Ah, man. That was a mistake.
Well, thank you for coming.
Alright, well, we need to spend 16,000 souls with this guy to move him along. So we're going to buy 16 of these infantry armors.
Thanks very much.
Now, we need to go spend the rest of our souls. Hey, let's talk
Wait.
to
The name's Gilligan. Don't make me say it twice. Alright. What do you want? I have everything you need.
I very much doubt that. Alright, you see it said set up ladder. We're going to use that later on, but not quite yet. What do you have that could be useful to us? Not a lot. Alright, well, we'll talk to him.
Oh, I should have listened to the warnings. This place is flippin' mental. Huh? No, I wasn't born here. I'm from a wee bit. I'm from a wee bit out west. That's all. I've seen some rough times. I think I'll settle down for a while. You wouldn't believe the shenanigans that happen in my business. I thought at least here in the middle of nowhere, I could stay clear of, you know, my old pals. Oh, don't ask me what happened. Have you no discretion, me old chum? That gaping hole? Hell, search me. It's where the people around here toss all their rubbish. Corpses, or you know what. Or whatever they'd rather be rid of. Oh, and those human statues? Who are they supposed to be? Anybody, I suppose. Probably just some old pagan costume. What's it like at the bottom of the hole? I mean, why in the hell would I know? Ha! Oh, yeah. Somebody told me that the grave of a saint lies below here. Not built by the king, no. It dated back to a time long before him. The tomb connects to that hole. And there's something about some rat king down there. Hell, if the old rat is as rich as they say, maybe I should go and pay him a visit.
That's a little hint to another covenant down there.
Oh, I should have listened.
And that's all he's
You
gonna
wouldn't?
say.
Aye.
We'll be back to meet him in a bit. Set up a ladder. Let's go to Shakwa.
Oh. Who are you again? No, I'm not serious. You do have a rather pleasant scent. The type I'm quite fond of.
Let's see. Could buy a red eye ring, or we could get Ring of Whispers. Actually, let's get the Ring of Whispers. We're gonna need that later on. It's a good time to buy. And what? Yeah, let's get a couple Lloyd's talismans.
Did you see that oddly formed rock bell? Long if
Alright.
this place.
We've got nothing left to talk to her about.
Oh my.
Valencia.
I knew you'd be back.
Pretty sure.
Everyone's.
Yeah, we have not spent enough with her to get her last little piece yet. We need to use our dark sign here, because we need to have 0 souls before we go talk to Mothlan again. Alright. Now we spent 16,000 souls at Mothlan. He's feeling pretty boss, as you'll see. Look at him. Look at him just chilling there. He's feeling good about himself.
Sorry, have we met? Oh, sorry. It's just I've been awfully busy lately. Care to look over my wares? Please, be my guest. I upgraded my stock recently, although it may be a bit out of your reach.
His upgrades are not all that great, but he does sell some bosses gear as you go through. So he's got the Smelter Demon stuff here. I don't think he has anything else. He has the Alva gear as well. The Alva gear is considered to be some of, if not the best light gear you can get. In terms of just defense, it's certainly not the most stylish. But that's what it is. It's just good plain stuff. But we're going to talk to him.
In a spot of bother, are we? Here, take this.
The Aros set.
Are you sure?
The Oros set. Armor of Kings of the Desert Land of Jugo. First worn by Oros, the land's heroic founder. According to legend, the armor of Oros is composed of a mysterious substance that cannot be seen by cowards. What do your eyes tell you? Now what's funny is, Mothlan gives you the armor of Oros that's invisible. Now in New Game Plus, you can get the armor of Oros that's not invisible. There's 2 ways you can take this. Either one, you're a coward for only being in New Game. I don't necessarily know if that's what they're going for. To me, it's that actually Mothlan is the coward who is holding the invisible armor of Oros. But we're going to switch to it because what it does is it actually raises your equipment load. And we're going to leave my helmet on here, though, because it's item find. But as you can see, vaguely you can make out this armor on me. It's pretty funny, but it actually raises my equipment load by quite a bit, so I'm actually down to 34%. Meaning I could go heavy on some other stuff if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but I could. Alright, let's go to... Let's go to McDuff's workshop. Because we're going to do some more talking. McDuff, he's so tough.
Flame, I smell flame upon you. I'm Macduff the blacksmith. All I want is a little flame. So, hand that ember to me. Right now, you imbecile.
If there's not a nicer way to ask.
What a marvelous ember. You've got stones, I pray. Give me stones, and I'll fortify your gear.
Alright, so you can fuse weapons with them. I have a rapier here. The only one I'd really want to go for is lightning. Lightning, very few enemies in the game are are resistant to lightning. So lightning's a really good choice if you're going to infuse. Fire is not a terrible choice, but there are a lot more enemies resistant to it. Dark's not a terrible choice either. Poison, your only reason you should ever do poison is if you have a weapon that's fast and can be swung very quickly to poison an enemy with multiple hits. You really have no reason other than that to pick poison. Faint Stone. The Faint Stone allows you to have magic attached to your attacks. Now this is not the same as the Magic Stone. The Magic Stone makes your weapon also scale with intelligence. The Faint Stone is what makes your weapon scale with, or not scale with, but do magic damage. So the Magic Stone it won't cut your damage in half. It's not going to give you, half normal, half magic. It's going to leave you with your full normal damage, but you're going to take a pretty big hit on the scaling set. The Raw Stone is just for raw. Certain weapons are good with it. Most weapons aren't. You probably won't want to use it on very much. It's not bad to do like a crossbow with raw if you are just barely using the minimum stats for it. Bleed Stone obviously does bleed. Mundane Stone. Mundane is interesting. Mundane actually scales with your lowest stat. So whatever your lowest stat is, the Mundane will scale off that. Mundane gets better the more levels you have, because you start to go up, 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 and eventually your lowest level one is going to be raising as well. If you're going to do like a all 20s build, 20 20 20, Mundane's probably going to be better for you. But if you're going, say, heavy faith or heavy int or heavy strength dexterity, you're probably going to want to skip over mundane. And I believe that's all those, yeah. I don't have any bolt stones though, which is really all I want. It's not a bad idea to infuse your sacred chime with a bolt stone, because then really it doesn't do anything bad. It just lets it it just increases the lightning damage it does and lowers the amount of dark damage, but dark really only affects your hexes. So you could also do dark if you use a lot of hexes. I actually don't know if the priest chime can cast hexes. I'd have to look at that. I don't use many hexes, so I'm not really sure. Alright, we have another place we want to visit here. I want to go to the servants' quarters. Earlier in the game, we tried to meet Strayed, but I did not have a fragrant branch of yore. I do now. So we're going to go talk to him. We also have the Bastille key. So we can open one of the doors right next to Strayed, allowing us to get the bonfire there. And the items there. Actually, unpetrifying Strayed gets you the bonfire. Alright. Come on down, folks. Really? Only one of you? Alright, well. Whatever. Alright, we got the Bastille keys. We can open this. And this is just a tiny little shortcut out here. Not particularly useful, but it does have petrified dragon bone here, though. That's useful. Alright, let's unpetrify Strayed. Then let's get the bonfire. This is a very dangerous bonfire because all these enemies out here respawn when you use it. And they can be tough to kill. So be very careful when you warp back here.
Still a bit stiff, I'm afraid. I must thank you, young traveler. I am Strayed, a wandering sorcerer of sorts. I've been a guest for a very long time, but I don't think that anybody will miss me. Very good. Very good indeed. Cursed one, weak you may be, but I, Strayed, will teach you my spells.
Alright, Strayed is the first guy we can get to that can use boss souls to give you items. He also sells the Ring of Knowledge. Just raises your intelligence, I think, by 2. Lingering Dragon Crest Ring, which is nice, but from what I understand, the Desert Sorceresses in Earthen Peak can drop the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring +1. Which, that's up to you if you feel like farming for it. But if you can't get it, this is where you can get the base version. Rouge Water, and a bunch of sorceries. He also sells some hexes. Interestingly enough, his hexes are ones that appear to be learned from Gilia, the father of hexing. You'll notice there are a lot of hexes that talk about Navlan. Navlan appears to be a later hexer who made his own hexes based on some of these other ones. But Strayed is ancient. He has been here a very long time. And his hexes appear to be quite a bit older. None of these are particularly amazing. Dark Fog is really annoying because it poisons you. And there are a lot of people who use this in PvP. It's really annoying, but eh. Affinity, Dark Hail, Dark Orb, Flame Swathe. Flame Swathe is a very powerful pyromancy. It's actually one of Strade's own. Strade appears to have been... He's a sorcerer, but he appears to have understood pretty much everything. He has miracles, pyromancy, hexes. He was pretty much an all-around awesome dude. See, it says right here, Strade was an oddly gifted mage, well versed in both sorceries and pyromancies, but his curious temperament never allowed him to settle down in one place for long. Strade, in my opinion, is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, regular person we meet. Big Hat Logan might have been comparable, but he was... This is a dude who was so powerful that he scared people so much that they had him petrified and put in this place. If you do the trade, this is where you can trade him for souls, the boss souls. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of good lore on these weapons. We're not going to go through all of them because it would just take a while. When we do some lore videos, we'll go back here and we'll talk to him. But he's got a lot of good stuff here. Really wish I had not used Ornstein's Soul, because I could have got the Dragon Rider halberd. Oh well. I don't think there's anything here I'm going to use. Maybe I should get the Warp Sword. It's not a bad weapon. It's not amazing. It's not bad. Or there's Mythos Bent Blade. The Bent Blade, I believe, poisons, so it's not too bad to have it. I believe if you infuse it with a poison stone, it becomes even better. So, it's up to you if you want a blade that can always poison things. I think I might pick it up, actually, and get that. And he also sells... Now, this is not everything he sells. As you acquire more boss souls, he'll open up new ones, but it won't show them right away. If you haven't acquired the soul yet, it won't show it. It'll only show you for souls that you've already acquired. The heavy homing soul arrow would be from the Ruined Sentinel soul. He'll get more later on, so we'll have to come back. It also gives you the mock gesture. Let's talk to him.
Oh, how long was I sat petrified? Long enough for the old kingdom to have crumbled, I see. Why didn't anyone wake me sooner?
I said in an earlier video, I think it's been somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 years since the first Dark Souls. This is one of your first major clues. Well, maybe not your first, but one of your major clues. Strade is very old. Very, very old. Old enough that he probably predates the Lost Bastille by quite a bit. And the Lost Bastille is obviously from a time long before Vendrick. And who knows how long... In fact, likely the Lost Bastille's been around since before even the Lost Sinner and all them. And I say that because really in the Lost Bastille, the only familiar architecture happens around the Lost Sinner's place, which is likely built after the fact. It was probably built after the Lost Sinner went there, built around her. She probably did it herself. Well, not did it herself, but probably had help. But it was likely built at her request later on to keep her in. And we'll talk more about her when we find her, which actually might be the next video.
Drang Lake. I've never heard the name. Is that what they call this place now? Very good. Very good indeed.
That's an interesting line. He almost seems to hear some sort of joke in it, as if Drang Lake means something to him that should be funny to everyone else, but no one else gets it.
The cursed ones were imprisoned within this land. Of course, you came of your own free will. The people feared the cursed ones like a plague, Some people would rather keep dreadful things out of sight, out of mind. In the end, they swept them up and corralled them here. So very typical of meek minds, don't you think?
Now, he could very well only mean that the undead were placed here inside the Lost Bastille. And this certainly was a place where the undead were sent to be locked away. But he says this land. He may be referring to Lordran as a whole. There's a decent reason to believe that Lordran, Drangleic, and all other places it's been named over the years is sort of a place that people are sent to once the undead curse hits them. To, like Strayed says, out of sight, out of mind, just keep them out. He may just be referring again to the Lost Bastille, but I feel like he's probably referring to the place as a whole. That this land is not just a kingdom and a place where kingdoms rise and fall. It's not just the place where Gwyn and all the gods had their own kingdoms. It's also sort of the prison for the undead. It's walled off by mountains and accessible only by the sea. I think really the people are just sent here to die, essentially, to go away. The undead asylum was in this land, implying that even in the time of the gods, this place was more a prison for the undead than it was a salvation, even though undead were sent here to seek salvation.
Once people became aware of their own frailty, they seized anybody they found undesirable, cursed or no, and impounded them here. Whoever posed even the slightest threat was removed, all so that they could sleep better at night. They even turned the great Strayed into a stone.
Now here he's obviously talking about the Lost Bastille, which may or may not have been in a similar shape at the time. It may have just been like sort of a prison and built upon at that time. But he's referring to this place in the sense of being a prison, and obviously it was being used as more than just a prison for the undead. There were people being sent here simply because they were a threat to power. Strayed is one of those people. I'm not even sure Strayed's undead. It's hard to tell. He trades in souls, which leads me to believe probably, but at the same time, he may not be himself of a very long age. He's been petrified. So, I mean, he could be thousands of years old, but be only 50, 60 himself.
Many kingdoms rose and fell on this tract of earth. Mine was by no means the first. Anything that has a beginning also has an end. No flame, however brilliant, does not one day splutter and fade. But then, from the ashes, the flame reignites, and a new kingdom is born, sporting a new face. It is all a curse. And it is your cursed flesh that will inherit the flame.
Obviously, this is a reference to the kindling of the flame, which you, the chosen undead in Dark Souls 1, you're actually the second person to kindle the flame. Gwyn was the first, but you kindle the flame, and it seems like when the flame is kindled, it sort of reignites the land, and you know, these kingdoms rise up again. New people come in, take over, and Strayed appears to be aware of it, which again tells me that it's been a while since Dark Souls 1. He is aware of the cycle. He is aware that once the flame's ignited, everything resets, essentially, implying it's happened more than once. And he's aware that it's happened more than once. Also, when he says his kingdom, he may not be talking exactly about like being a king. He may just be referring to whatever kingdom he was a part of.
Pyromancy was created by the ancient witch of fire. She harnessed the power of flame and melded it into pyromancy. The witch led her daughters into war against the Old Ones. But legends are legends. What are you prepared to believe?
Obviously talking about the Witch of Izalith. Interestingly enough, he seems to be one of the only people in the game that is aware of the old gods. Everyone else, like even the items that were originally associated with the gods, no one knows their name anymore. He appears to be one of the only ones. Shalaquar seems to be aware of them, even though she doesn't seem to even know their names. But Strayed actually knew about the Witch of Izalith.
Oh, long enough. Why didn't anyone?
Alright, that looks like all he says.
Don't just walk off.
Oh, you be quiet. Alright. And let's go back to Macduff. Because we're going to infuse Mythos Blade here. Unlike the first Dark Souls, in Dark Souls 2, you can infuse weapons that have already been infused, so long as the enchantment is native to the weapon. So, for instance, you can infuse a Hide Knight Spear with lightning, even though it has lightning on it already. But you can't, say, infuse a regular spear with lightning, and then infuse it with lightning again. That won't work.
Flame.
But we should be able to... Where's your bent blade? I did buy it, right? Yeah, I bought it. Why don't I see it? Why don't I see it?
Be gone.
Maybe you can't enchant the boss ones. I thought you could. Huh, you must not be able to. Well, you can enchant regular ones. I know that for sure. Like the Highest Knight and, you know, other weapons that have not themselves already been infused but have a base infusement. But apparently you can't do it with Mythos or any of the boss ones. I thought you could. Not bad. As you can see though, I could infuse the Enchanted Falchion with any of this stuff. I'm not going to, that would be a waste because that is a stupid weapon. I could also enchant the Fire Longsword with anything but fire, apparently. But that would undo the enchantment that's already on it. Same thing, actually, the Enchanted Falchion, I would be undoing the enchantment on that as well. As you can see, the scaling is getting better. That's because it's already magic, which means its scaling was already hit pretty hard. But I'm not going to bother infusing it. Okay, here's a good example. The Black Knight Great Axe. The Black Knight Great Axe has fire by its base weaponry. It has fire enchanted already. As you can see on the right hand side, 80 of 80. I can enchant it again with the Fire Drake Stone, and I'll take a little bit of a hit on the regular damage, but I'll add to the fire damage. I'll also increase scaling with fire. Right now it's a C scaling. If it was maxed out, I think it goes to I think it stays C if you max it out, but if you enchant it with Fire Drake Stone, it should go to B at least. But we're not going to bother doing that because we're not going to use the Black Knight Great Axe. Great Axe wielded by knights who served a Lord of Light in the long-forgotten age. See, they don't even remember Gwyn in this age, which is insane. I mean, he was literally the guy who oversaw the taking of the souls from the First Flame and the extermination of the dragons. I mean, this guy did everything. Now they don't even know who he is. I think that's pretty much it for this video. I don't think there's really anything else we need to do. Yeah, I think that's... Actually, you know what? There is something we should do. Oh, wait, no, I can't. I don't think I have a token of fidelity. I did not make that jump, did I? Nope. I do not have a token of fidelity. Well, I was going to talk to the guy up here and join the Blue Sentinels and get my Bolt Stone, but I can't because I did not join or get that token from Huntsman's Cops. So instead, we're just going to end the video. Later, dudes.